On Tuesday, Collingwood took to the training track for one of two main training sessions. Let's have a look into it. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to training on Tuesday because my boys, Clark and Lex, my two whippets, they had a bit of minor surgery yesterday to get some lumps removed, so had to look after him overnight, of course, and in the morning as well. Didn't really want to leave them, and so that's why I wasn't there. So this news is coming from reports that I've seen, people on Twitter and Instagram who are sort of messaging me, and some of the footage you'll see here is from Jen's training buzz. So if you're not following Jen already on Instagram, make sure you do. There's a couple of things that we were sort of looking out for today. The main one being that this was the first main training session since we played, Melbourne. That was our last hit out, which was on Monday last week. So you got to think that by the time we play St Kilda, we would have played one game in 22 days. So there's not going to be the boys taking it light this week. We've got two main training sessions. So one again on Thursday. There'll be a light session on Friday, which will be like the sort of captain's run on Friday morning. And then the game on Saturday. The big things that we were looking out for was Lipinski, seeing how he was going. Brayden Maynard, seeing if he was ready to come into full training because he was due to come back after the bye, and they sort of circled the St Kilda game for him. Seeing who else was on the training track and just seeing how we were going. We'll start with Lipinski. So Lipinski started with some of the main drills, but then went back to rehab running. So what does that tell me? It tells me that he's probably not ready for full contact at the moment because there were contact drills at Tuesday's main training session. So if he was running, it means that he's probably not past the protocols so far at the moment, or they're just being super extra cautious with him, which is fair enough because it's concussion. We need to be cautious with these things. If he can get through the main session on Thursday, I dare say that he definitely plays. So that main session, he'll have to show a bit of contact to be able to get picked. If he's still rehab running on Thursday, I doubt that he gets picked for Saturday's team. We need Lipinski in our team. I haven't put a graphic up, but I do want to do a little bit of a video about it. Lipinski is the best kick going forward in Collingwood's team that converts to goals, right? Kicking inside 50, converting to goals. Lipinski is at about 30%. He's the second best in the AFL, which is absolutely wild. Like, I know he's been a bit of the whipping boy, and, I've even said it a couple of times that maybe we drop him to sort of bring someone else in, but then you watch him throughout a game and you go, okay, this is what Lipinski can do. It's that hard box-to-box running. There's that big tank that he has and that he's been working on. And now he's got, two good shoulders. And I think he's not having the biggest season, but he's having a really good season. And these are the role players that you really do need in your team. And I'd love for him to get up for the St Kilda game, but I wouldn't be pushing him to get up for the St Kilda game. So the next guy is Brayden Maynard. So we know Brayden Maynard a fair few weeks ago now, ruptured his plantar fascia. So that was fully came off, and after he's signed on for 4 years, in that interview he said that his foot has not been hurting him, which is wild to think, right? Rupturing and then it's not hurting, which is good for him and definitely good for us. And they've circled in the St Kilda game as the post-bye game that they want to bring him back for. He trained fully with the group today, which was absolutely incredible to hear. So what that's telling me, again, is that if he can get through Thursday's training session, he will be picked for Saturday's game against St Kilda, which is going to be a huge game over at Marvel. One of two Marvel games that we're going back-to-back with. We haven't really missed, quote-unquote, Brayden Maynard because our defense has held up. We have, been winning these games and stuff like that. But you need someone like Maynard in your back line for not only the stability that he sort of brings to the back line and that leadership that he brings. He is the vice captain of the club. But just for that grunt and power that we are missing a little bit in our back line. Jordan Goey, another one of the guys where you're hoping he comes good post-bye, and they've got him sort of, a few weeks post-bye that he'll be really integrated back into training. He did some light running today, but then left the track and went inside. So again, there's no timeline on when Jordan Goey is going to come and not even play for us, just have full match sim, contact training. I still reckon, I've got a feeling that he's still about a month or so away. And that's okay because we're winning, so we don't want to push him. We're going to give him all the time in the world because you want someone like Jordan Goey firing at the end of August, September finals, really, to be able to play their best footy. You don't want them playing their best footy, St Kilda and West Coast back-to-back at Marvel. So you're going to give him all the time in the world. But if he starts doing... if he keeps doing these light training sessions where he's not integrated back in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'd probably start questioning if we will see him again this season. I dare say we do see him again this season, but it's just something to keep an eye on. The last guy, which is a bit interesting to me, was Tom Mitchell. Now, Tom Mitchell didn't complete today's session with the main group. He was mostly off to the side doing lighter duties, a little bit of running, but then he went inside. From what I know, there's no sort of lingering issues with Tom's foot or anything like that. So it could just be, I don't know, managing his body, managing workloads. Remember, this is one of 2 main training sessions this week. So we will see on Thursday if he's integrated back into the full team. Because I would have thought that if he was to play a game, it would have probably been against St Kilda or against West Coast to see how he goes. I'd love him to play just against St Kilda because he has put in a bunch of work in the VFL. I want to see if he can sort of translate that back into the AFL because we haven't seen him since round 7 last season. So that is, over a year. It's just absolutely wild that we haven't had Tom Mitchell in the team for over a year. So that's an interesting one. Kind of like Goey, where just keep an eye on it. The VFL team plays on Saturday afternoon. So I dare say he should play there if he's not getting picked for, obviously, the game on against St Kilda. But Thursday's going to be a big watch. So Thursday we'll be watching Lipinski, Goey, seeing if he's back out with the main group, and Tom Mitchell. They're the big 3 watchers on Thursday, and I'll definitely be at Thursday's training session. But there you go. That's just an update on, some of the players that are injured that we're hoping to come back post-bye. In regards to training, it looked like just a normal training session. The first big training session, again, since that King's birthday game, for his M&D game against Melbourne. So the boys have gotten a really nice rest. They won't be resting any players on Saturday against St Kilda. They'll be taking it super seriously. I can't wait. I'll be at the next training session on Thursday. Until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.